Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Daily Devotional. And a short Daily Devotional today. It's going to come from Hebrews chapter 13, verses 5 and 6. So in Hebrews chapter 13, this is the last chapter of the book of Hebrews. The Hebrew writer is offering some final guidance to these brethren. And in verse 5, he says, "Let your conduct be without covetousness. Be content with such things as you have." Covetousness, certainly, we remember in the Old Testament, one of the Ten Commandments was, "Thou shalt not covet." To covet, it's more than just to have on my wish list, or I wish I could have something like that, or ooh, I really like that. Hopefully, one day I can get one, something like that. It's a desire it's to desire something that belongs to another inordinately or culpably. That is Webster's definition for covetousness. Covetousness, of course, Paul links covetousness to idolatry, as Paul writes. And so the concept of covetousness carries with it the sense that not just wishing for, but actually lusting after. And you can covet a person, certainly, but this is a person or an object, a thing. Somebody else has it. I wish ill will upon them because they have it, and I want that. King Ahab, I guess you could say, he coveted the vineyards that the fellow refused to sell. And so the idea of covetousness carries with it a sense of greed, of inordinate attention, of focusing too much on that thing. And that's why Paul says covetousness is idolatry, because it distracts us from serving God. It distracts us, first of all, from being content. Certainly being content recognizes that God has made me sufficient for today. And even though there may be things on my wish list, things I wish I could have, for now, God has blessed me with what I need, and God has blessed me with the luxuries I do have, and I should be content with that. In fact, contentment and joy certainly go hand in hand. Having joy is the recognition that I'm blessed. And if I'm coveting something else to the point where nothing else matters, all I want is that, it's as if to say that, first of all, that's not joy. And second of all, it's as if to say that none of the blessings God has given me matter. And then he goes on to say, "For he himself has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you." Verse 6, "So we may boldly say, the Lord is my helper, I will not fear. What can man do to me?" So verse 5, the Hebrew writer, and in verse 6, he quotes Old Testament scripture. He says, "For he himself has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you." Some interpret this to say that God will always give us what we want. Obviously, that's not the case, because the Hebrew writer is actually saying, you need to let your conduct be without covetousness. So it's not that God's giving you everything you want. Some people also interpret this to say that God will give us everything that we need. And that's not necessarily true as we define our needs. Paul himself in Philippians chapter 4 recognized that there were times that he suffered need. There were times he was hungry, and yet through it all he was content. And so I think what the Hebrew writer is trying to convey here is not so much of God's going to give you what you want or what you need or what you think you need. Rather, God's going to be with you even through your needs, through difficult times, through rough times. Let your conduct be without covetousness. Be content with such things as you have. Why? Even if you don't have everything you think you need, even if the times you're going hungry and you're going without, be content with such things as you have. Why? Because God's with you. And God's going to take care of you one way or the other. So we may boldly say, when we are content, when we're letting our conduct be without covetousness, we may boldly say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. Okay, the Lord's my helper. And the Lord is far more powerful, obviously, than any man can be. But beyond that, it's the idea that the Lord is going to take care of me. It's not me taking care of myself, and it's not my possessions or my goods taking care of me. The Lord takes care of me. I will not fear, even if I'm going through times of need, even if I'm going hungry at times or suffering issues in my life. I will not fear. What can man do to me? Certainly, it speaks to being content through persecution, through trials, but it focuses on the fact that I'm going to put my trust in God. And if there are times I'm suffering need and I'm going hungry, then I'm going to trust that God has a reason to allow for that to happen. And I'm going to trust that God's going to take care of me one way or the other. And ultimately, I'm going to put my trust in Him taking care of my soul. And so that's my focus. And so the focus of the daily devotional today is simply that we should remember to trust in God. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Hold on. Oh. Oh, my word. Apologize. We should trust in God. We should make sure that we're focusing on, especially in a society that is full of in a lot of ways, our society is full of covetousness. There's a lot of things that distract people, and it becomes an idol to them. We have to remember to be joyous. We have to remember to be content. And we have to remember to trust in God. That's the daily devotional for you today. Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow at 6:30. So I hope to see you all then. Thanks, everybody.